Hi there, this is Rev Lorena, the old sage, coming to you again from my little camper in what we call Toontown in the Renaissance Fair. And I'm looking to see what this little computer I've got does for audio and video. Is it going to be a good connection or bad when I get back to at home? I have a much better environment set up. And as I said in my last video, I'm going to be teaching. Okay. I'm going to teach from the Four Simple Truths, which is what I downloaded just recently and put out. But I'm also going to be teaching from Duality is the Illusion, which is really, it's Science Mind 1. I'm a Science Mind minister, and that's not Scientology. Science of Mind it comes from Ernest Holmes, and it's a lot like Unity in the Fillmores back in the 1920s, so 100 years old. About unity, new thought is very old thought, but the premise is that your words and your thoughts and your environment that you have is all reflective of what's inside of you, and you can change what's inside of you. Your mind, your conscious mind, is like the little teeny operating system of your body, whereas your heart mind and your soul is connected to spirit, to all that is. Your heart and your soul cannot die. We moved into this body. We expect experiences out of it. We hope that we can take the road to joy instead of the road to fear. Um, we're working on. I don't think there's any more young souls on this planet. In that first book in 2012, that I am going to be working out of, which I named Duality is the Illusion. Uh, I called the subtitle is Young Soul Planet. And in the past, in the last 100 years, up until I'd say maybe the last two generations, or maybe even this last generation. I'm not really sure. The people I see, the young people I see, are just amazing. They're not even wired the same as people in the older generation. I was born in the late 40s, so I have seen many, many, many changes in our world, and I expect to see more to come. Just my genetics, my family is is pretty old, and so I will be around, and I am vital, and I am viable, and I'm going to teach now, as well as do Renaissance fairs, because being able to work one-on-one with people and help them, see their future. I use tarot cards, I use astrology, I use those kind of mediums to do it, but it always shows me where they're coming from, where they want to go, and how they need to get there. And sometimes it shows me where they don't want to go, and then it's how they need to change so they don't get there. And it's just a 15-minute fix, but I've opened many doors. I'm sure I've gotten a lot of feedback that way, and I'm grateful. But I'm a minister, and I want to teach. I'm not just a minister, I'm a teacher. I'm a teaching soul. I've For eons and eons, I've done this. I used to do past life regressions for people. I've had many of my own, and I know that I have been on this path for many lifetimes, both here and other places. So let's us get together. I'll not do more than 15 to 20, maybe 30-minute videos. I'm going to start, like I said, I don't think I'll start until I actually get home with the book series, because of my probably better video, and also I'm going to have some more. This, and this is coming on. So far, when I've done videos, I've just done off the cuff. It's just, this is how I feel and what I think at this moment. And if I think too fast, my brain goes in many different directions at the same time. I tell people I think in a circle, around. Everything comes in circular, and I think they would have called me dyslexic at the very least growing up, but back in the 50s, when I was growing up and little, they didn't even know what that word was. So I managed to figure out ways to compensate for that, and read and write and do my arithmetic and get out of school and have 4 children and go through all of that. I think I've lived about 4 lifetimes in one, and I'd love to share that with you someday, but not today. Okay, so I'm hoping that this is not a bad feed, because this is the little Lenovo computer that I got back, and it's video and audio, and we'll see if this works pretty good, because my desire is to get a laptop that I can flip up like this and begin to communicate. If not, I guess I'll go back to my phone, or go to my phone and get it better. It's I can learn. I should be sitting here learning more about what is it, WordPress. I have my computer at home and my other laptop. I have my web page on there. I managed to get a web page for myself. I've managed to figure that out over time. I knew back in, what was it, 1984. I'm like, I'm going to need a computer. I'm going to need to learn how these computers work. So I got my VIC 64, not, was it? Yeah, Commodore 64 with a floppy drive, Before that, my father-in-law bought my children a VIC 20, can you imagine? And I learned how to program Jingle Bells on it. That's about the extent of my programming skills, except I was married to a very, very prominent computer programmer for quite some time, until he decided to go be a Tibetan monk. And when he did, at 50, I ended up coming out on the road with my first love, which was astrology, because there was a man. He was an old monk. He was in Virginia, where my kids were and my basic home was, and he had a huge zodiac tent. It was a huge 40-foot across, with all the zodiac, the northern hemisphere was on it in perfect order. He had holes punched in where the stars were, and he did a star show, and he needed an astrologer. Well, Spirit always does that to me, puts me in the right place for what I need, and I'm sitting there looking at him going, I think I know him. And it wasn't a loving love relationship, it was a camaraderie. It was like, I know him. And we went on I traveled with him from 97, and then in 2000 he decided to retire, and I bought the big top. I bought the Circus. It was the Celestial Circus at the time. And after after 2 tents, I went through 2 big tents, and they didn't work out, and I love to do the show. I was in Robertson Memorial School for Fine Arts when I was a child, when I was living with my aunt, and I had some talent to being able to ad lib and act, and I really enjoyed that. But trying to do readings and then go ahead and do the show back and forth 3 times a day, that show, that's like whiplash for your psyche. So I gave up the big top after I didn't want to make any more tents because of canvas, and I was and I'm now Celestial Time, and I've been working doing readings at the Renaissance fairs on the weekends, and continuing my work off and on here and there, doing some workshops and writing books. I've got 5 books out. 6th one is in presses. I'm working on one about feeding the negative, how people get caught feeding the negative in this life, and hopefully how to get out of it. But we'll get into that as I start working with my books and working with my ministry. Probably not until after I get home. After this show. This show's got 4 more weekends, and then I won't be living in my little camper, which I love my little camper, but it's old, and I'm old. And the community that I live in here, most everybody's dead. There's so many people that have passed. Dead Red Dancing Society shows you there's so many have left the planet. And I'm still here and I'm still kicking. And it must be for a reason or I wouldn't be here. And so I'm hoping I can fulfill that reason. Until next time, God bless and stay positive and enjoy your life's journey because it is supposed to be an experience. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. Go out and do your part and pull your characters in and enjoy your journey. Farewell.